Hello everyone, welcome back to Adrian's Digital Basement 2 Super Mini Mail Call, and let's just jump right into it. This package here, which I'm struggling to open, there we go, comes from Roger in Mount Vernon, Washington. So just north of me here in Portland. Looks like we got a shirt, and we have a letter. Roger writes, I am very gratified to see you have some Silicon Graphics gear in your collection. Please accept this SGI shirt as a gift to wear when you are working on your SGI stuff. Grin. I was working for Cray Research when SGI took them over in the mid-90s. At the time, I was part of the support team for the Cray multiprocessor that used Spark CPUs from Sun Microsystems. Cray had secured a cordial operating agreement with Sun in developing the hardware. Since Sun and SGI were bitter competitors, I could see the handwriting on the wall that Sun's cooperation with Cray, now a division of SGI, was doomed, and that the Spark-based multiprocessor was a very dead end, so I quit the company. The inside joke at SGI was that working for SGI, quote, wasn't just a job, it was a wardrobe too, unquote. They inundated us with t-shirts and other company branded stuff all the time. This is one of the shirts I had left over. Roger, an S100 guy. Thanks, Roger. Let's check this out. All right, so looks like Roger sent me a large, which is perfect. It's usually the size I wear, especially in the winter time, because I like to layer on the clothing. Although this shirt, for a large, actually seems rather large. It's really good quality though. Silicon Graphics Computer Systems USFO, whatever that stands for. Obviously I don't know, but I like it. It's a vintage shirt, very 90s with the blue collar and the red stripes on it. That is pretty sweet. Oh, and wait, there's more. It says Cray Research on the sleeve. That is super cool. The other one doesn't say anything. It's just got the the old stripes on it. Cool, very cool. Thank you very much for that. I'm gonna put it in the wash. Hopefully it shrinks a little bit so it'll fit me nicely. And I'm sure this will be seen on this channel, especially when I'm working on the Silicon Graphics stuff, which I do need to get back to. I have not forgotten about it. I know there's a lot of fans who are eagerly awaiting me to bust out the Silicon Graphics and give that thing some nice upgrades. Thanks, Roger. All right, since that last one was a relatively quick mail call, I'm gonna do another one here. This one comes from Aaron, also known as Plarn Dude. And I've actually chatted with Aaron a little bit. He's one of my patrons, and I know what this is. He has knitted me a cap. I love it. That is so cute. You know, it's wintertime here in Portland, and caps are very much necessary when you go outside. It doesn't get freezing cold here all the time, but it's cold enough that you'd want to wear a hat. So for Aaron, who will be watching this, let's give this a try. See how it fits. Oh, it's actually tighter than I thought it would be. I have a really big head. If anyone has any ideas of sending me hats or whatever, most things barely fit me. And this one is a good example, but it does fit. It's nice and snug, so it'll keep my noggin nice and warm when I'm outside in the cold. And I love the color scheme and the little pom-pom on the top. So that is pretty awesome. Thank you very much, Aaron, for the hand-knitted cap. I totally love it. All right, let's just keep moving on. I know I always say I only open up one thing per video, but I guess when they're super, super short, I will combine some. So this package here comes from Bob's Barn Workshop out of Batavia, New York. So all the way to the East Coast. It's squishy and I don't want to accidentally cut into it. I'm going to cut very carefully along the edge here. All right, what do we got here? We've got a letter. Let's check that out. Okay, so Bob writes, you helped me find an individual to test my 64 chips a while back, so I figured I owed you a favor. Here are 16 SIMM memory sticks that were donated to me by my brother-in-law, who found them in a house he bought to flip. I haven't researched the capacity, but I do see some of the early 90s date codes on the chips, so I hope they can be use of you in a Mac or other appropriate application. Good luck and keep on keeping the retro computer stuff alive. Many thanks. Bob. All right, thanks, Bob. Let's take a look at these SIMMs. Probably the easiest way for me to open this is just cut this bag. All right, here they are, memory modules. These are gonna be for sure either 1 megabyte or 4 megabytes, which would be desirable. I certainly have a lot of 1 megabyte memory. It's still useful, I'm not saying it's not. The RAM tester, which was recently shown on the channel, has allowed me to be able to test all my memory and figure out which of it is bad and which is good. So here's Rammy, and here's the old RAM check. I'll have to move Rammy out of the way for a sec just to make room for the old RAM check here. This thing is so amazing, I just love it. Okay, the first module says Intel on the back. Let's stick this in. Uh-oh, wiring error. Really? Nope, there we go. 1 megabyte. So I just write 1, give it a tick. It's funny, this second module here just refuses to work in here. It just says wiring error. So it must have a short on it. Let me just go back to the first one. No, this one's working fine. All right, let's exit out of that. So I guess this one's bad. Another Intel module will be a 1 meg one. Really? Also error. All right, I don't know. X that one out too. Next Intel module. This one's working. This has data bit errors. Data bit 7 seems to be faulty. Let's try that again. Now it says wiring error. Yeah, how funny. Intel memory, very, very unreliable, obviously. This one is bad as well. Or maybe this RAM was exposed to things to make it very unhappy. No, this one refuses to work as well. It's basically telling us that the address pin is stuck and shorted to ground, which I assume is like a failure mode of these chips or something. I think these are all the same modules here. Oh no, there's some Samsung ones as well. Oh, this one's working. 1 meg. All right. So that's a 1 with a tick mark. All right, this is a different brand. It's not Intel. Let's see if this works a little more reliably. Data bit error. Wow. It's a 1 meg, no parity. Okay. Another faulty chip. That's why this tester is so handy. We have another Intel chip here. Because if you put these in a machine, oh, here we go again, connector wiring error. Address 11 is stuck at 0. Yeah, it refuses to test these. Another one with a stuck address line. Okay, here this one is a Samsung module. One meg times 9 bits. It works great. So that's a 1 with a tick. Another Samsung module. Data bit errors. Wow. Fascinating that so much of this is bad. It's quite a worse ratio than I normally experience. I've tested a lot of memory on this tester. Okay, this one's working fine. 1 meg times 9. So check mark and a 1. And I just noticed that is exactly the same as this one, same module type, but this one here actually showed up as 1 by 8 before it errored out. 1 by 8. And it doesn't show an error now. That's the one that failed, I think, with, all right, I see the problem with this one. There's really heavy corrosion right here. And there's some the pads are missing. Oh, sorry. Oh, and the back is really bad as well. So I don't think I'll be using that one. That's definitely going into the bad pile. Another bad Samsung module, 1 meg by 9. No dirty contacts on this one, just badness. I wonder what happened to this memory that so much of it doesn't work. That's weird. It's not even just sitting here like it doesn't even know what to do. I've never seen the RAM tester do this before. All right, I guess that module is not good. Let me just put a different one in, make sure that the tester is still working. So this is one of the really corroded ones. It looks pretty bad. At least the test's fine. All right, I guess it's good. I just don't like how corroded the pins look, but maybe it's something that can be cleaned up. They're just not even shiny over on this side anymore. Okay, back to the Samsung module that it didn't seem to do anything with. Size measurement error. Look at that. It's just, no, very unhappy. Data bit error. Looks like it's a 64K module is what it thinks it is. I don't really see corrosion. I don't know. Looks pretty bad there. All right, that's getting the X. And one more module here. We tested one like this. A couple of these were bad. Okay, that one's good. Why don't we do a little experiment here? I got the fiberglass pen out. Let's just rub the contacts here. That definitely improves them. They're shinier now. Backside. We'll do that with a couple of these here. So the backside of this one is really messed up looking, and this pen is not helping at all. Let's try some Deoxit on here. All right, so the Samsung one is really clean looking now. Let's give this a quick try. Data bit error. Okay, so obviously, I guess I needed to say data bit error. It's able to address the memory. It's just failing on some other point. So this one here, I mean, it still looks terrible, even with the fiberglass pen. No, that just fails right away. All right, anyways, there we go. So pretty interesting that these modules all tested good and these modules all tested bad. But thanks, Bob, for sending these in. I mean, these are still good modules, and these ones are gonna go into the dead parts bin. All right, we have one more quick package, and this one comes from Thomas in Denmark. Hello to all my Danish viewers. I really hope to get to Denmark one day. It's definitely on my bucket list. Okay, I opened it from the bottom to avoid the address and stuff. We have some candy and sweets. All right, let's see what we got here. Let's go right to the letter. All right, Thomas writes, thank you for taking such a good time to talk about my NES 64 controller board back in February and for being so honest about what you thought of it. I was actually using one of these controllers today, so Thomas makes a new PCB replacement that goes inside of the original NES controller, including the cheap clone ones you can get from AliExpress and whatever. And then that allows you to use these good gamepads with any machine that uses the standard Atari 2600 or on 9-pin connector. The one issue I ran into, and I've had this a few times, is that this cut down 9-pin D-sub connector doesn't always fit on everything, just because on certain computers there's not enough clearance or they're too close to each other, things like that. I think what Thomas has gone and done is he has sent me some of the extension cables, so I'd be able to plug this in like so. And then of course, now this will fit on everything. This is like the Atari 2600 looking one. And wow, these cables are pretty soft actually. The other alternative, of course, is just cutting the wire here, and then I can wire this directly into the controller. So back to the letter, he says, your viewers got me lots of good ideas for further development of the board, and while I'm busy working on next generation or next revision, I thought I would share another little project with you. To test various prototypes of my NES 64 board, I've been using a hardware joystick tester I quickly put together on some perf board. I thought others might find it useful as well, so I thought it would be fun to make it into a proper PCB. Open source hardware, of course. He's got a little picture over here. It looks like it's got some LEDs on there, and that would be for testing to make sure your up, down, left, right is working properly. In its simplicity, it just lights up an LED for each direction or fire on the joystick. It can be powered via a mini USB cable or by your own power source like a battery pack. And there's a switch that lets you choose whether you want to send power onto the joystick or not. More information at the URL right here. Oh, look, there's actually the completed little project. That's pretty cool. In this package, I send you both an assembled tester and a kit, so you can decide yourself if you want to spend a little time soldering it. Oh, and I hope you don't mind that I also include a little extra gift, which might not be very retro themed, but still should carry a bit of geek traction. An LED matrix decorative item. Totally okay if you don't feature on your channel or any of this for that matter. Best wishes, Thomas. P.S. The candy name translate to pea pies, seagull droppings, and rotten fish, all classics in Denmark. Oh, those just sound so appetizing. So that is obviously pea pies, which look amazing. I guess it's like a little marshmallow thing with peanuts and chocolate. Delicious combo. And here are the classic seagull droppings. I mean, what the? It's like shooting out. Original. Okay, so these are obviously some kind of a toffee flavored hard candy. On the back here, it has the ingredients in Finnish, in German, and it looks like in Danish, and I don't know what /N/S is. And finally, this one, which is the rotten fish. I mean, oh, isn't that just appetizing? Don't you just want to jump right into your rotten fish candy? Let's check out these rotten fish. Well, it certainly doesn't smell like rotten fish. It just tastes like, or smells like just a kind of a cherry flavor. It's like a hard candy, boiled sweets kind of thing. Well, if that cat has anything to say about it, they're not nearly as bad as that. They're very interesting tasting. They're a little salty. They're sort of like a sweet candy with salt in it. Not bad, actually, just different. And I kind of like that. All right, we got to check out the bird droppings or the seagull droppings. All right, though, these just look like, I don't know, brown with a stripe in the middle. Yeah, what this is, it tastes like toffee and black licorice together, which is not a horrible combination. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of the black licorice just in general, but kind of cool. Yeah, I kind of like those. Neat. Okay, and the last one, the pea pies, share size here. I know these are going to be good. So there it is. It's just milk chocolate with peanuts and marshmallow, I guess. And yeah, that's pretty tasty. It's not marshmallow, it's more like nougat with peanuts and chocolate. So it's kind of like a Snickers almost, but smaller and delicious. Cool. All right, so let's check out the rest of this stuff here. So yeah, we got 2 extension cords, and this is obviously one of his kits. And this here, this is that LED matrix he mentioned. So there it is. I wonder if these are RGB LEDs. No, I guess not. They look like standard affairs. There's a toggle switch here, open source hardware, lots of dropper resistors all the way around the edge, and then there's a USB connector there. All right, here we go. Let's connect this up. Ah, right. Okay. So these are standard color changing LEDs. It's going to go red, green, blue, and then it's going to do like cyan, yellow, I think. So there's like the purple. Okay, maybe there's no yellow. All right, well, they just cycle, and they're all powered on exactly the same power supply. But you know what happens with these is they start to drift. So after a little while, the color changing is going to start to become more randomized. And let's see if that actually happens. I mean, just the color alone of the LEDs is quite random. Yep, notice, look at that. How cool is that? That's a really novel use of these really run-of-the-mill LEDs. And the longer you run this, the more out of sync it'll all be, where it will start to become kind of random. I think the exposure of the camera is making the LEDs look a little blown out, that in reality, that's not really happening. They're the typical super vibrant color of the LEDs, but there is a lot of variation from one LED to the next when it comes to the exact color. So even when they were all displaying the same color, it's not all exactly the same. But yeah, it's starting to diverge there, and it's really cool looking. There's the label on the little anti-static bag and the URL if you want to get one of these yourself, and it is open source hardware, so you can just build it too. But I think you can buy it as a kit from Thomas. I totally love that. Look at this. I like these LEDs. Are faster than the rest. Okay, I'm going to take this off to the side and let it do its thing. All right, now we have the joystick testers. Let's break into these. One will be assembled and one is a kit. All right, there it is. Super simplistic. Up, down, left, right. Center one for fire. USB power. Dropper resistors. And this is obviously a little switch that can send 5 volts to the joystick or not. All right, we have another power bank here. This one is starting to die. I think it's RAV power. I use it a lot for filming and using it powering my camera. And I have to say that the battery life on this is very short. Okay, it's fully charged though. All right, well, let's use this joystick right here as a perfect example for testing, because I think I'm having some issues. I think some of these buttons are actually not working super well. So there it is, up, down, left, right. Yeah, and you can kind of see that. Look how interesting that is. Is that even showing up on camera? Let me turn it this way. So when I push down, the LED does not light brightly. If I push it hard, it does. Okay, I was actually pushing left and right there. But if I don't push very hard, it doesn't light up very much. What about these other up, down, left reads? Yeah, these are all having issues like that. Oh, it doesn't start select aren't connected. The fire button though, that works normally. And of course that pushes up. So those work well. But yeah, the D-pad on this one is starting to fail. It may seem like it's pressure sensitive, but it shouldn't be that way. It should just be on and off. But I noticed when I went to use this the other day on the 64, I did have to push pretty hard to get it to register. So clearly something's going on, and I'm wondering if it's Thomas's PCB. Maybe it's a little oxidized or whatever compared to what was originally in there from Nintendo. Not quite sure. Anyhow, there it is. That's the joystick tester. Perfect for Atari joysticks, Commodore joysticks, stuff like that. You can get your own kit. You can have one assembled. And of course, it's open source hardware, so you can just go to GitHub and you can download the Gerbers and make your own if you feel like it. It's simple, but effective. Pretty sweet. And let's just check out how the LEDs are looking. Let me zoom in on this. They have gotten quite randomized at this point. I know it's all washed out in the camera, but it does look really cool in person. So there we have it. That's going to be it for this super mini mail call. Thank you very much, Thomas, for sending that stuff in. And thank you very much, Roger, for sending in the SGI shirt. And Aaron for making me a hat. And Bob for sending in this 1 megabyte memory. These are the working ones. Before we end this video, I'd like to thank my patrons for all the support they've been giving me and the channel. Their names are scrolling up the side of the screen over here this time. If you want to become a patron, you can do so at the link in the description. If you thought this video was good, a thumbs up. If you didn't, you know what to do, and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. The second channel is growing, and all the subscribes I get really helps me out. Comment down below, check out the main channel. I don't know, I think that's it. So stay healthy, stay safe, and I'll see you next time. Bye.